Hit that like and subscribe button, guys, if you're new to the channel and if you enjoyed this video. So, AJ's being thrown under the bus because he's facing Jarrell Miller, a guy that supposedly is unknown. Deontay Wilder's being praised because he's facing Tyson Fury, a guy who's much more known than Jarrell Miller. So, Deontay Wilder fans are, celebrating this, going around, praising Deontay Wilder and throwing Anthony Joshua under the bus. But here's the thing. I would not be surprised. Matter of fact, I have a big feeling that Jarrell Miller versus Anthony Joshua is probably going to be a more entertaining fight than Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder rematch. Okay? I understand that Jarrell Miller is not as known as Tyson Fury. I get that. But there's something in boxing called styles, right? Styles make fights. And when it comes to Jarrell Miller's a guy who brings the fight. He's a guy who marches forward. He's aggressive, okay? So when you got an aggressive fighter like that coming forward against somebody like Anthony Joshua, a puncher, okay, a guy who himself is aggressive, right? Anthony Joshua's an aggressive fighter, an aggressive heavyweight when he wants to be. That's why has all these knockouts, right? When he knocked out Dillian Whyte, when he knocked out Dominic Breazeale, he was front foot heavy. He was coming forward, right? When he comes forward, when he's on the front foot, he knocks people the fuck out. That's why he has all these knockouts. So when you got two styles like that, AJ and Jarrell Miller colliding like that, that has entertainment written all over it. Oh, you understand me? When it comes to Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, first of all, we already saw the first match. So since we saw the first match, that kind of took some excitement. I would imagine it probably took some excitement away because now you know what this fight's about. Because before a fight happens, that's what excites you about the fight is you don't know what's going to happen. So you get nervous as a boxing fan. You're watching it, you get nervous because you don't know what's going to happen. Even if you think it might go a certain way, or even if you think the underdog could, pull the upset, you feel this nervous sensation. At least I do. You ever when you watch a fight, you feel nervous because you're before the fight happens, right when they're being announced their names by the ring announcer, and you have this kind of feeling of nervousness because you've never seen the fight, and also being excited, right? But when it comes to fights that already happened, you don't really feel the same way just because you already saw the fight, so you know what's probably going to happen. So I feel that because they fought already, this is kind of the feeling that boxing fans already have, is they're excited for the rematch because the first fight was kind of good. It was kind of entertaining at least. But they already saw it, so they're not as excited as they were when it first happened. So they're going to fight, right? Tyson Fury, let's say Tyson Fury fights the same fight he fought in the first fight, and let's say Tyson Fury is extra careful now because he knows as long as he doesn't get dropped by Deontay Wilder, he could beat Deontay Wilder by points. So if he fights the same way he fought the first fight, and he doesn't take as many risk, this could just be a stinker. It could just be a 12-round snooze fest where Tyson Fury is outboxing Deontay Wilder. And Deontay Wilder, if he doesn't change his game plan, and if he approaches that fight the same way he fought the same fight, you're going to see Deontay Wilder giving away rounds and just getting outboxed for 12 rounds. And the only dramatic, because think about it, in that fight, in the first fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, the most exciting part of that fight was when Tyson Fury was doing his little ring shenanigans, when he was putting his hands up, when he was putting his hands behind his waist. That was what was entertaining for me because he was making it funny the way he was acting basically daring Wilder to fight to let his right hand go. That was entertaining to me. And also when Wilder, dropped him with those with that right hand, right? Those were the most entertaining parts of that fight, in my opinion. Right? You take away you take away the Tyson Fury's ring shenanigans and Deontay Wilder dropping Tyson Fury. It was a decent fight, but it wasn't fight of the year candidate, right? And the best fight of 2018, right? But when it comes to So that's what I'm saying. Let's say he fights more careful this time, more cautious, because he knows he could outbox Wilder. It might just be a snooze fest, right? But when it comes to Jarrell Miller and Anthony Joshua, Miller, if he fights the way he traditionally fights, if he comes forward and tries to break down and impose his size and will and gets, because like I said, Joshua, if he has Miller coming forward against him and breaking him down, or attempting to beat him for 12 rounds, right? So he's going to be forced to defend himself and push Miller back. So that's going to be entertaining because that's going to be a phone booth type of fight. And especially if Joshua is not able to knock out Miller. If Miller's able to take Anthony Joshua's best punches, you know what's going to happen? Miller's going to be coming forward all night. And Joshua is going to be forced to defend himself all night. So I could totally see this as one of those type of dramatic fights where the first couple of rounds, Joshua, Miller's coming forward. Joshua's letting Miller up. And you're being like, oh shit, he's letting him up. But then Joshua starts gassing out. Because he's letting his hands go. Defending himself against Miller, who has an iron chin for 12, for like the first 6 rounds. And this gasses him out. He starts losing endurance. He starts slowing down. And then you start seeing him pinned against the ropes. And you start seeing Jarrell Miller teeing off on him. And then the fans go crazy because it looks like Joshua was about to be knocked out. So you see, this is why I would not be surprised if, right now he's being trashed for this fight, Anthony Joshua. But I would not be surprised if this fight ends up overshadowing the Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder rematch just because of how entertaining it was. People are going to be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, he fought Tyson Fury, but this was way more entertaining, the Jarrell Miller fight, right? So, I'm just keeping it how I see it. Save this video because do not be surprised if that's what ends up happening. If after these fights happen, we all end up being here saying, man, you know what, that Joshua versus Miller fight was just way more entertaining to watch. Because like I said, styles make fights in boxing, and I think this style, AJ versus Miller style, is a candidate for a good fucking fight, a barn burner. All right. I understand he's unknown, but we have to just look at the styles. Jarrell Miller is an exciting fight. I've never seen Jarrell Miller in a boring fight because he comes to fight. He's not one of these guys who tries to go to distance. He comes to fight and he tries to break his opponent down. And because he's in his opponent's face, he forces his opponent to defend himself, to keep him off him. All right? Anyway, guys, I have to say thanks for watching and hit that subscribe button.